Hey, what's up? It's JR here with another Matto's Minute. So, today, you know that TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where it starts out and be like, I'm going to tell you a little story about how I became the Fresh Prince. I didn't become a prince. I don't live in Bel-Air. I don't have anything, but I do have a story about this product. This product we came out with 3 years, maybe 3 years now. I think it's 3 years ago. We were in Mississippi and we were at Expo and we debuted it. So yeah, 3 years ago ish. Anyways, so this product, we came up with this product a long time ago, probably about 4.5, 5 years. Okay. The way it started was I was like, I had this idea. We were already selling something similar, but you had to use 6 of them to make one repair. And then I was like, you know what? We can make this better. I designed something very similar to a Scotch lock, but using with 3 terminals to make it so you could use one per pixel repair, right? So I'm designing it. I'm going in, seeing how much moldings are and all this stuff to have it produced. I couldn't afford it at the time. Matto's Designs was a very new company. We didn't have the capital to come into making new things on our own. So I asked my buddy Brian and another friend of mine at the time, you ever make a Kickstarter? How do you make a Kickstarter? My other friend at the time went and made a fancy spreadsheet, all this stuff, a Google Doc. I still have the Google Doc. So break down how many we have to sell at the price to make them with the mold price and all this stuff and what it would take to bring these to market. And I was like, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know about doing a Kickstarter. Not really my thing. I didn't have a lot of confidence in my designs back then as I do now. So I was a little worried about it, hesitant to say. That person offered to become a investor in it. And I kind of turned it all down. It was just, wasn't ready, wasn't right. So Matto's Designs grew a little bit. We, came a little bit more popular, came out with some cool stuff. I got a little familiar with making new products. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to revisit this idea. Went, had the molds made, started making them. Found out that person I talked to before was also making something similar. Kind of sucked. We were friends at the time. We did a lot of stuff together. It hurt in the little inside a little bit, but it was good. It was fine. I didn't care. There was 2 on the market. We both different, right? I thought mine was a little bit better because it was easier. It was more designed off of traditional Scotch lock, years of history of it working. And we had a little bit of user error with version 1. We made a version 2, made that easier. And let's get into a little bit about this. This is our III-LoK connector from Matto's Designs. And I'm going to give you some little straight up view of my camera not doing what it was supposed to do that we practice. This is very awesome when stuff doesn't work right. So fun. There we go. All right. So this is our 3-LoKs, right? Had to do that manually. They come in a 20 pack, nice little container. So this is V2. And what we did, because there was a little bit of user error, is we made each wire has its own chamber now. As you can kind of see here, there's 6 chambers for each wire. So if you're doing a 3-wire pixel, you make sure you put the voltage and voltage on both sides, your data and data on both sides, and your ground and ground on both sides. And then you push them all the way in. You don't have to strip your wires. You don't have to do nothing. Just push them in. And you make sure they hit the back of the chamber. You'll see them. There should be a 1/8-inch gap down the center and all the wires pressed against the front. Ensure perfect thing, cut them straight. That way they'll go straight in there. You'll see them all lined up. You push them together in there, right? And then you take a pair of pliers and you push this blue little top down. I can't do it with my fingers. Nope. But you push that down. And you push that all the way down. The spikes in this are going to protrude into the wires. They're going to make a connection to your other wire. This is going to make your splice that you normally had to use 6 of our regular Scotch locks with to only having 2. So you're going to put this in one fix and then this on the other when you're changing out pixels. And it's just super easy to use. The only thing you got to make sure you do is make sure when you press this down, the blue goes under the clear lip. It is going to be recessed a little bit. Once it's recessed a little bit, you know it got perfect penetration into the wires, and you're going to have good conductivity between them all, and everything's going to work perfectly. If you don't get them pushed down all the way, you might have an issue, but it's still savable. As long as your wires are pushed all the way in to their chambers, as long as you push this thing down and it doesn't work and you push it down again, you're going to get it, right? These have been used on seed wire, which is kind of hard to use. I've seen customers use it on seed wire. I've used it on seed wire. They work on it. I can't guarantee they will work on everybody's seed wire because sometimes there's wire that I don't even know how it works, but it's so small. And I've seen this work on them, but it's also hit or miss. So I wouldn't necessarily say it will work on tiny little wires, but I have seen it work on our seed wire. I've seen it work on our Evos. I've seen it work on our Pixels. I've seen it work on our extensions, everything. It's easy. We designed this specifically for Pixel wire. It has the right size chamber for the 8-gauge round core wires inside of an extension inside on your Pixel wire, everything. You don't have to strip it, just cut it straight, push it in there, clamp it down. It's just easy. It's got dielectric grease in there to prevent water intrusion. When you squeeze this down, the dielectric grease is going to push out. And what you got to make sure is you do not get your wires pushing out. Sometimes it's a little difficult because you got to push them both all in, right? But you got to squeeze that down, and it's going to make an easy, simple connection. It's super small. It's very unnoticeable, and it's going to last. I've had customers since the day we brought these out using them in a very wet condition and still have them. The plastic's got a lot of UV in them. They're not going to break in half like others do. They're not going to fail you. They're just going to work. Once they're on and they're working, they just work. Now, version ones, there was a lot of problems because we just had a hump in the middle in each one, and people were pushing too far and they were going over the hump, which then were preventing the top to go down, connect right. So we fixed all those. These have its own chambers, everything. There's only a small section that the line could go in. There's no crossing. Everything's pretty easy. The only thing it does is it will squirt out the dielectric grease, which means it's filling all the gaps for water to get in, and it's going to be a solid connection. And this is our III-LoKs, invented by us for what we do with lighting. And we were the originators of this concept, and we created them. And we brought them to market first. This is our III-LoKs. Thank you.